Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell are actually working together. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Minnesota Vikings Syndicate, a show for the fans by a fan. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe and that notification bell so you're notified every time we drop a video. Our goal is currently 250 subscribers by kickoff, which is September 11th against division rival, the Green Bay Packers. I think it's very doable, so hit that subscribe. Now, Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell are actually working together. Unlike Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins, who only met one time in their 4 years together, well, O'Connell and Cousins are actually trying to figure out this offense and each kind of giving input on a regular basis. Some may say, or actually it is proven, that they are meeting at least once a week to figure out the offense. Now, Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins actually worked together when they were both in Washington. Actually, Kevin O'Connell was Kirk Cousins' quarterback coach, so they have that chemistry, and what better fit than to bring O'Connell over here and give Kirk Cousins a little bit more, how do you want to say it, like a little bit more confidence going into this season. Now, they were together, and Lindsey Young, actually a staff writer for the Minnesota Vikings, dove into this a little further. She says, "The two now are reunited with the Vikings and building on a relationship started 5 years ago. Cousins spoke to Twin Cities media members Thursday and was asked if he's benefiting from his time in Washington with O'Connell or if that season feels irrelevant after so much time in between. Cousins said, "It's been a mixed bag. There's been moments where you say, that's nothing like what we used to do. It's evolved greatly, and I have to unlearn things and learn new parts. There's other pieces where you say, I haven't done that since I was back in Washington, and I remember being in the room when that was invented, if you will. The key piece is that it's now the 2022 Minnesota Vikings offense. As the systems evolve and there's change and there's different backgrounds coming together, it just becomes the 2022 Vikings." Now, he spoke on that because obviously with a new head coach, the system is going to be completely different. But when you have the head coach that was once your quarterback's coach, you know the type of things he's going to implement. Like Cousins noted there, some things are same, some things are completely different, so I have to unlearn and learn new parts. But it's not as hard as a process as it would have been if, say, a Todd Bowles comes in or somebody else comes in randomly, right? But that doesn't mean he's completely getting the system. Okay, with new head coach Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips coming in, they all have to kind of put their heads together and realize that some things might not go as planned, but that's why they're working together. Lindsey Young kind of goes on and covers this for us as well, stating that Cousins used an OTA practice rep as an illustration of their coach-player style. He noted that in a particular concept, he opted against the first route in his progression and instead went to another option. O'Connell told Cousins that in future scenarios, he should take the first look and not continue the progression. Prior to him saying that, I would have progressed every time, Cousins said. I said, okay. And we probably ran that play a half a dozen times in the spring. And when we got the look, I was going to take that option. It's important to understand what he wants and not just play to. Well, I've done this before, so I'll just do it again, Cousins added. It's more of, how do you want to look at it? Let me execute that way. But that takes time to learn. So obviously everything takes time to learn with a new system, new verbiage, new everything. Okay, you have to learn all these different types of things that you once weren't familiar with, especially with bringing over a new head coach in Kevin O'Connell and a new offensive coordinator in Wes Phillips, who both came over from the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. They know what they're doing, but the system might be completely different, and that is exactly the case. So it's a learning process. It's a learning process for not only Kirk, but Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips as well. Now, O'Connell actually met with media members as well as Lindsey Young actually went on for us to say. She said O'Connell spoke with the media Thursday and said he and Cousins have started to find bits of time throughout the day to connect as they're able. I think that's one of the best things you can do, especially as a play caller, O'Connell said. It's one thing as the head coach. Whether you're on the offense or defensive side, the quarterback has to be an extension of you as a head coach. He noted that learning each other's ins and outs will be a process, but that ultimately being in sync with one another will benefit the team as a whole. Now, O'Connell obviously went on, and Lindsey Young helps us out here. She says, O'Connell also leans on his experience on the other side, per se, having played in the NFL himself. He was actually a quarterback for the New England Patriots way back in the day. O'Connell said, when the coach, or Cousins said, excuse me, when the coach played a play I didn't like that. And I think that's really important to be aware of, O'Connell explained. I might love something. Coach Phillips might love something. The quarterback's coach, Chris O'Hara, might love something. But in the end, if the quarterback doesn't love something, then you've got plenty of plays. Cousins certainly appreciates being given the sort of anatomy O'Connell referenced, but he emphasized that knowing the playbook backward and forward is his top priority right now. I've got to learn the system before I start telling people what I want or like to do. I first need to learn, Cousins said. You need to understand first. So it's been just absorbing it, and then as we get closer to week 1 or into the season, that's when you start to give that feedback more. So with O'Connell and Kirk Cousins working together on not only a weekly basis, but a daily basis, this is huge, not only for the team's success, but their success as well. Hopefully, they bring a Lombardi back to Minnesota. It's never been here since, during the Super Bowl era at least. We used to win championships before the NFL was actually created. It hasn't happened since. We need that Lombardi trophy in our case. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. Have a great rest of your day. Hit that subscribe. Let's hit 250 by kickoff against the Green Bay Packers. Skol Vikes.